I had no idea the British press was so bigoted.
This one's wife. Tone deaf and hard to stomach. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. An examination of some of the reactions to this one's wife's recent Instagram video provides us with useful insight not only into her levels of popularity, but also to determine the varying aspects of her narcissism in action and to the extent to which people understand that. Alexander Larman writes for The Spectator with the headline, "This one's wife's tone-deaf wildfire video is hard to stomach." Once again, another outlet reporting about her, which provides her with fuel. Its tone, however, is critical, which means that it's challenge fuel for her. The fuel is welcome, the criticism is not. And for a thin-skinned narcissist that is the middle mid-ranger, such as this one's wife, who wants to be loved, who wants to be admired, who wants to be adored, whose prevailing mindset is that she is a good person, a kind person, and she just doesn't understand why people continue to hate her. They just must be racist and misogynists. Any form of criticism flies against her need for control and damages her facade. Mr. Larman writes, "The recent fires in California have had many tragic effects. Many have lost their homes, possessions, and livelihoods. And it has been a stark reminder that even the wealthy and privileged are not immune from a truly awful, life-changing event. Regrettably, however, the disaster has attracted a small but vocal number of people who ostensibly have offered their time and resources to provide much-needed assistance, but in reality seem more interested in creating hashtag content to share on their social media." Now, pausing there. We see this regularly, don't we? How many videos have you seen of the individual that goes up to a person, a homeless person in the street, and provides them with some money, a large sum of money, and they film it? How many times have you seen somebody offering to pay for a pensioner's goods in a supermarket and then films it? There'll be some that will say, well, at the end of the day, if you're doing something good for somebody else and you're looking to get some comments and likes and make money from it yourself, it's a win-win, isn't it? And that is one perspective. It's important to understand that not every individual that engages in this false altruism is a narcissist. Many of these individuals are often normals who are influenced by the easy win of making themselves look good whilst getting content. Indeed, many of them are actually more focused on getting the views and the likes as part of their side hustle or indeed their main hustle. And they're not so bothered about actually being liked. They're just using the sentimentality that can be attached with these actions in order to make a living. In a sense, if you were to ask them, they would probably be quite honest about it. Oh, I recognise those kind of videos are the ones that many people like to watch, and so all that I'm doing is utilising that trend because I need to make a living. What's interesting is that your unaware narcissist will engage in these supposed acts of altruism, which is truly about them asserting control and drawing fuel and managing the facade. And if you were to say to them, you've done this charitable act, but you need to tell the world about it. You need to have it publicised. You need it to be content on social media. That's the real reason you're doing it, isn't it? You will be met with a very firm denial, for the narcissist cannot deal with your threat to control by admission, but rather will say, no, that's not it at all. I just think that it's important to highlight this thing so that other people will join in and do it. That's the answer the narcissism feeds them, to deflect and nullify the threat to control posed by the questioner's observation as to the true motives. But it's also genuine, because the unaware narcissist doesn't know the reason that they're acting that they're engaging in this act of charity and publicizing it is for the prime aims, they think it's because it's important to show the world kindness when it's dark days or whatever they describe it as, and to motivate other people to behave with empathy themselves. In other words, the narcissism blinds them to the true nature of what they are doing. There is an increased nature for people to behave this way. Part of it is that it's driven by the narcissist, which then influences the non-narcissist to behave similarly. And, as I've explained to you on many occasions, social media is the playground of the narcissist, and therefore the narcissist will utilize this material. Alexander Larman continues by explaining, this one's wife, predictably enough, belongs to that category of being more interested in creating content to share on their social media. There is, of course, her new reality television show with Love Meghan, which, at least in a small gesture of mercy, has had its release date delayed by a few weeks until early March. This was because it was felt that releasing an ersatz lifestyle programme was somehow at odds with the efforts to clean up after the fires. But as if the prospect of that show weren't terrifying enough, she has now decided to use her recently relaunched Instagram account to share videos of her helping her community. Or, to put it more accurately, reminding her 1.6 million followers that she has a wide assortment of famous friends as befits her A-list status. Well, you might well argue about her A-list status, but it's right. It is part of the showcasing that a narcissist would engage in to say, hey, look at me, I've got famous friends. In the latest tone-deaf offering, the Duchess of Sussex posted an apparently candid video, Jean's Minimal Makeup, in which she details a tortuous odyssey by which a young Billie Eilish fan, who lost her favourite t-shirt in the fires, has been gifted a stack of merchandise signed by Eilish. Although even this one's wife's celebrity stuff contact list does not extend to her knowing Eilish personally, there are others that she knows who do. And therefore, there is a shout-out to Adam Levine and Bahati, who helped me get this over the line. She ends by announcing that she's going to email the fortunate Eilish's fan's mother now and says, I just wanted to share this with you guys. As with so many other things that this one's wife has been responsible for in recent years, the initial feeling that many viewers might have is either to feel heartwarmed by an apparently generous gesture or, more likely, to shrug and think of this as a fundamentally harmless moment barely worth considering. It is easier, for the sake of our collective mental health, to think as little about this one's wife as possible. And even an article such as this gives her antics an unwelcome degree of publicity and exposure. Yet, there is something so nauseatingly contrived, so fake, so actressy about the little smiles to camera, the faux excitement, the casual name-dropping of famous friends. For the initiated, Levine is the heavily tattooed lead singer of Maroon 5 and Bahati is Bahati Prinsloo, his model wife. And finally, the idea that some signed trinkets can in some way compensate for a truly epochal disaster. It screams of consumerism and fakery, both things by now that the Duchess has intimately associated herself with. This makes another good point linked to the collateral consequences. In believing that she is doing something good, all she does is reinforce in the minds of many that it's consumerism and fakery. This one's wife and Harry have already been accused of being disaster tourists. Adding another epithet to the others has been flung at them. Whether they are making quasi-state visits to other countries or, in the case of the Duke, launching court case after court case, there is a grandiosity, you might almost say a regality, to how they conduct themselves that is no less repellent for its familiarity. And as you know, the grandiosity of the narcissist is one of those traits. We sigh and await the advent of With Love Meghan and wonder if the end of days will intervene before then. It would, on balance, be a relief if it did. Further criticism of the behaviour of this one's wife, raising articulate points about it and providing me with a further opportunity to demonstrate the aspects of narcissism that link with this commentary. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.